In this past year, we have seen so many vegan options come to Disneyland Paris. It has never been easier to be a vegan whilst visiting Disneyland Paris, and now almost all the restaurants have at least one vegan option. In the past 9 months, I've taken 3 trips to Disneyland Paris, and I've now eaten in nearly almost all of the restaurants inside Disneyland Park and Walt Disney Studios Park. I've actually done reviews of all of the restaurants I've eaten in, so I'll add that playlist down below. But today I've decided to rank the vegan food to give you a good idea of where the best options lie and where you might want to go and dine yourself. My name is Sophie from Most Magical Guides, and I make videos all about how to plan your own trips to Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney World. And as a Disney vegan, I also review all of the vegan foods I try at Disney. So if you do like that type of content, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. So I have to actually start this video by saying I actually have not had a bad vegan meal at Disneyland Paris. Everything that I've had so far I've enjoyed, I would have again. There's not been one place where I've gone, definitely going to avoid that. So this is obviously fantastic news, and what I'm going to do today is just rank them in the order that I liked them the most, because as I say, everything's been really good. Now before we start, I do want to mention that there are some restaurants that I haven't dined in, and that's partly because I haven't been to Avengers Campus as it's just opened, so I'm not going to be reviewing those restaurants just yet, although I have an upcoming trip planned where I'm hoping to dine in them, so look out for some future reviews for those restaurants. And there were also some restaurants that were never open when I visited, such as Last Chance Cafe. I've heard so many good things about the chili there, and I'm so disappointed that every time I visit it is closed. But that being said, I believe it is the same chili that they use in Fuego Del Oro and Casey's Corner. So if that is true, then I have tasted the chili. It's excellent. So even though I haven't eaten at Last Chance Cafe, I do have an idea of what that dish tastes like. I also haven't eaten at Hakuna Matata because, again, that has been closed when I've been there. And the final place that I haven't eaten in just yet is Plaza Garden Restaurants. I would love to do the character dining meal, and I'm currently trying to get some reservations for that for my next trip. Whilst I was there last time, it had just reopened, but it also reopened at the same time as Aubergines and Drillen and Waltz, and I only had 2 days, so I didn't have enough time to go to Plaza Gardens as well, so I'm hoping to review that for an upcoming trip. So those are the restaurants that I haven't eaten in, but now let's dive into all of the amazing foods that I have tried and give them a rank to help you see which restaurants you might want to dine in. So I'm going to be ranking 12 restaurants in both Disneyland Park and Walt Disney's Studio Park, and based on the vegan foods that I tried when I visited. So coming in at number 12 is a surprise entry, I think, but it's actually Bistro Shayremy. Now I have to say, this is my favourite themed restaurant at Disneyland Paris, and one of my favourite themed Disney restaurants that I've ever been in. The fact that you shrink down to the size of a rat, everything is oversized, is incredible. It's definitely worth visiting here. I visited back in November 2021, and at that time, every dish that you wanted to be made vegan, you had to ask to be modified. So because of this, there was a little language barrier, and some of my dishes did come out with dairy on, and I spoke to my server and they very quickly went and got me another dish, so it was absolutely fine. But because of this, it was probably my least favourite dining experience I had at Disneyland Paris. Now the great news is, this year Bistro Shayremy actually updated their menu, and they now have 3 vegan dishes on the menu, so no more modifications are needed. You can order straight off the menu. The dishes are quite similar to the ones I had before, so that's great news because the food was actually very good. There was a really excellent salad, and it was like kind of a bit bitter, but then it had like some sweet sun-dried tomatoes. Like, it was so good. So I'm really looking forward to going back there, and again, I do have an upcoming reservation in a future trip, so I can try out the new specific vegan dishes. As I say, nowhere I've eaten have I ever gone, I didn't like that at all and I would never go back, and I think it was mostly because I had to do a lot of modifications, which made this one of my least favourite meals that I've had at Disneyland Paris. But as I'm going back, it obviously was not a deterrent, and like I say, the theming is absolutely incredible. Coming in at number 11 is Pizzeria Bella Notte. Now at this restaurant, it is a quick service restaurant in Fantasyland. You can get a pasta dish with Neapolitan sauce, which is basically like a tomato sauce. Now I have to say, going in, I was not expecting much because pasta with tomato sauce, what can you get excited about? But this is actually a really, really good dish. The pasta is cooked really nicely and the sauce is really rich and flavourful, and I was so surprised because sometimes quick service food can be a bit lackluster, but this was amazing. The only reason it's number 11 on the list is because it's kind of basic. It is just tomato sauce on pasta. There's nothing super special about it. If you are looking for something that is very tasty, it's filling, a good price, then this is definitely a place to visit. The pasta dish that you can get at Pizzeria Bella Notte, you can also get in Colonel Hathie's Outpost. So although I've not dined in that restaurant yet, I do know it's the exact same dish. So you will find this same tasty pasta dish in either of those restaurants. Coming in at number 10 is Vegan Kitchen. This is a food booth that is in Walt Disney Studios Park, and it is open seasonally, so you won't find it open all year round, but if you visit in higher seasons or when there's a food festival on, this is normally open. It is right by the Tower of Terror, and there's a little seating area near there, so that's a great location to hang out and eat, and they actually serve a variety of different dishes. I had a veggie sandwich, I had a chestnut mushroom soup, and I also had a chocolate cake from here. The entire booth is vegan, which is fantastic, so you can have anything you like from this restaurant. They also serve a banana bread, which I've heard is supposed to be very good, but banana is like my least favourite food. I can't bear it, I won't touch the stuff, so I've never tried their banana bread, so I'm not entirely sure if it is as good as the reputation preceding it, but I have heard only good things about it. All the food here was really, really nice, but particularly the soup. I would go back specifically just for that soup. And in fact, I would probably rank the soup higher up the list because it was so, so tasty. Only downside, for some strange reason, they give you a wooden spoon, but it's kind of flat. So it took a very, very long time to eat soup with a flat spoon. The veggie sandwich was also very tasty. It had a patty that was made from different vegetables and quinoa, so that was very, very good. It was nice textures as well. The bun was very nice, so that was another winner. The chocolate cake was also very good, and it was really nice to have a proper dessert in a quick service location at Disneyland Paris. It was very rich. The only thing I would say is a little bit claggy in the mouth. Some other people have said it may have been a bit dry for them, depending on how long it'd been out. I went when it was kind of just open, so I think I had a very fresh batch. And something I really liked is they also warm it for you, which is great. Coming in at number 9 is Walts Restaurant. This restaurant recently opened just a few months ago, and it has now 3 vegan options on the menu. This restaurant is on Main Street, and it's themed all around that era. There are lots of photos and artifacts relating to Walt Disney, so it is a fantastic restaurant if you're a big fan of Walt. It's also a really great place to dine during the parade times, because if you happen to be sat by one of the windows, you see the parade go past from a high vantage point, which is so nice to see. Walt serves a set menu, so you get 3 courses for €42. The courses have curious names, so they don't really give too much away as to what they actually are, which is a common theme in Disneyland Paris. With the vegan food, you're not always entirely sure what you're going to be served. But the starter was a fruit slaw, which turned out to be a coleslaw. It was very, very nice. It wasn't tangy or sharp. It was just exactly right. The main was a dish that was a potato dish on the menu, but in reality it was potatoes, quinoa, vegetables, and they came with, it was almost like a mustard hollandaise type sauce. Something I would say about the main dish is because it was quite a strong mustard flavour, I don't think this would be to everyone's taste, but if you do enjoy that and you also like rich foods, then this is something you will like. The dessert was my favourite, and it was a giant cookie, and it came with maple ice cream and a caramel drizzle. When they say it's a giant cookie, they're not joking. It's absolutely huge. But what's really nice is it's a warm cookie, so in the middle it's really soft, on the outsides it's a little bit crispy and crunchy and chewy, so it's really, really nicely done. It does say that it is a chocolate and hazelnut cookie. I would say the predominant flavour is hazelnut, so if you love nuts, you're going to absolutely love this. You can actually get smaller versions of this cookie from the cookie kitchen, which is right opposite Walt's. Obviously it won't be warmed, but you can get that, and there's also an apricot version as well. I have to say I really loved the setting of Walt's. It was just so whimsical and of that era. The menu was nice. It was quite heavy and rich food, and for me that's not my absolute favourite type of food, which is why it's down the list a little bit. Something I did enjoy was that it was a very relaxed atmosphere. I was visiting on a very hot day, so it was lovely to sit inside in the cool, taking your time with your meals, seeing the parade go past. But I would say I was there for 2 hours, so it is something to be aware of, that sometimes table service restaurants do take a little while to complete the meal, so that's just something to consider. Coming in at number 8 is restaurant Agribar Cafe. This is a Middle Eastern themed restaurant and the interior is incredible. You feel like you're in Aladdin in the market scene. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favourite settings, and it has lots of different rooms and they're slightly different themed, which is great. This restaurant is a buffet, and that's a really good thing for vegans because basically you can go up and get as much of the dishes you like and go up as many times as you like. Because it is a Middle Eastern restaurant, there are lots of dishes that happen to be vegan, such as falafel, couscous, lots of different hummuses, salads. When I went up to the buffet, I spoke to one of the chefs and they pointed out to me exactly what dishes were vegan, and there are lots available at this buffet. This restaurant has been a long-time favourite of vegans because of the variety of dishes and the fact that you can stock up and get as much of it as you like. I would definitely say if you're a big fan of Middle Eastern food, do not miss out on here because there is a lot of things to choose from and it's just a very, very nice restaurant with a great setting. Coming in at number 7 is Casey's Corner. This is the iconic hot dog location on Main Street, and if you time it right, like we did, we were very lucky. We got a hot dog and then we stood watching the fireworks in the evening and it was amazing. Here they have a veggie hot dog which is covered in a vegan chili, which I hope is the same chili as Last Chance Cafe. It is worth noting that the hot dog is cooked on a shared fryer, so if this is a concern, then do avoid this dish. The sausages themselves were very nice. They were kind of peppery, so they had a little bit of spice to them, but very, very flavourful. And you actually got 2 sausages in the bun. The chili on top was very flavourful. It had no heat whatsoever. It wasn't a spicy chili, but it was loads of those nice warming spices. Really, really enjoyed the chili on top. One thing I would say is I've had this dish twice and both times it's been kind of different. One time it was very neat and you had lots of chili and it was great, and the second time it was incredibly messy, like all over the box, and you didn't get much chili, so it wasn't as enjoyable to eat, which is why it's kind of in the middle of this list. But dining at Casey's is such a classic part of a Disney trip and it's fantastic that vegans now have that option. Coming in at number 6 is Captain Jack's Restaurant. I love the fact that you can dine inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. The novelty never wears off. The setting inside is incredible. I love seeing the boats go past with people on the ride. Everything about it is amazing. And I also have to say I've had some incredible cast members here who have been so friendly, so fun, and it's just really made my experience incredible. I also really did enjoy the food here. I actually had one of my favourite desserts here. It was called a fruit soup. Again, who knows what that was meant to be? But it was kind of like bits of fruit in a syrup and then covered with a coconut whipped cream, and it was so good. The starter was a quinoa salad and the main was a curry. I very much enjoyed both of these. I really enjoyed it. They were whole foods, so there was no kind of processed faux meats and things like that, so they were really, really tasty. The only thing I would say is that the starter and the main course had a similar flavour profile, so they weren't different enough to give a lot of variety, which is the only niggle I had with this meal. When I dined there in November 2021, you did have to modify your dishes, but just like at Bistro Shayremy, Captain Jack's now has 3 vegan dishes marked on the menu, so you don't need to modify anything anymore. I would say if you are looking for a really interesting meal or you're visiting for a special occasion, then Captain Jack's is a really great place to dine because the setting makes it unlike anywhere else. At number 5 is Cowboy Cookout BBQ. Now, this restaurant isn't always open, but the dish that is served there is actually served in a lot of Disney restaurants. At Cowboy Cookout BBQ, I tried the brand new veggie burger that is made with a Beyond patty. Now, I love Beyond meat at home. It's such a nice, distinct flavour, and I was so excited when Disneyland Paris partnered with Beyond Meat, so you can now find a lot of their products in the dishes at Disneyland Paris. This veggie burger comes with traditional toppings and also a tartar sauce, which I was really curious about because I've never had a tartar sauce inside a burger, but it worked so well. I thought this was a super tasty dish. It also comes with chips. I would say add salt onto the chips at Disney because they are very plain otherwise, but once you add a bit of salt, they're amazing. When I ate at Cowboy Cookout BBQ, this burger could be part of a meal deal, but the desserts all contained dairy. But luckily for me, the cast members were happy to swap that to pineapple, so you could take advantage of the meal deal if you wanted to. If you are just looking for some proper theme park fast food, then I would highly recommend this veggie burger. I really enjoyed the flavour. Again, I thought it would be a bit basic because fast food at theme parks tends to be, but I was so impressed. It is worth noting that the patties for this are also cooked on a shared fryer, so again, if that is a concern for you, do avoid this dish. You can find the veggie burger at Cowboy Cookout BBQ, but also at Cafe Hyperion, Chalet de la Marionnette, and Restaurant en Colisée in Walt Disney Studios Park. And I've absolutely butchered the pronunciation of every single one of those restaurants. Coming in at number 4 is Silver Spur Steakhouse. This restaurant can be found next to Phantom Manor and opposite Big Thunder Mountain, so it's an amazing setting. Inside, it's kind of like that old Wild West feel, and this is a table service restaurant, and they serve a set course menu. This restaurant actually serves one of my favourite main courses I've had at Disneyland Paris. Here you can get some, they call them vegetable skewers, but they do also contain some faux meats, which the first time I went caused a lot of confusion because I was like, I don't think that's meant to be meat. And she's like, no, it's definitely vegan. And I was like, okay, it's vegan. And I tried it and I was like, this is definitely not vegan. But it's just very realistic. And it's because they have this partnership with Beyond Meat and they have Beyond products. You have both sausage and meatballs as well as vegetables on the skewer, and it also comes with potatoes, some vegetables and a tomato stew. It is such a tasty dish. I've actually been to this restaurant multiple times because I enjoyed it so much. Something else I loved and raved about was the salad. Salad as a starter seems pretty boring and it seems like one of those, oh, it's vegans, they're just gonna have salad sort of things, but it was so good. It came with kind of a citrusy vinaigrette on top and it was amazing. I cannot rave about this salad enough. You can do either 2 or 3 courses, and if you do opt for the 3rd course, then it is a dish which is kind of a bit like a vegan style yogurt topped with berries and some popcorn. If you're from the UK, you will get this reference. It kind of reminded me of a posh Muller type yogurt where you had the yogurty side and then the fillings that you put on top. It was kind of like that. It's not my favourite dessert I've had at Disneyland Paris because it was kind of a bit unusual and it didn't have lots of flavour. So the second time I dined at the restaurant, I decided to skip this, but the other courses are so excellent that I was like, I must go back because it was so tasty. Coming in at number 3 is Fuego Del Oro. Now this is a restaurant that is opposite the entrance to Big Thunder Mountain and it serves burritos and they have a specifically labelled vegan burrito on the menu. It is so good. It is really tasty. It has a chili inside, which again, it's not spicy, it's just very flavourful. There's also vegan cheese, lettuce, tomato, guacamole. It is such a great burrito. It's also really large, so for the price, you're getting quite a lot for your money. Whenever I've had it, I've eaten the burrito and been totally satisfied with the portion size. It is so good, like I can't recommend this enough. As Fuego Del Oro is a quick service restaurant, this is a really good option because it's about €11 for this burrito, which is a really good price for a theme park. But it's a place that I visit most trips because I just enjoy it that much, and I would highly recommend making this one of your picks to visit during your trip to Disneyland Paris. At number 2 is Toad Hall Restaurant. Now this serves my absolute favourite quick service meal, which is the vegan fish and chips. It is unbelievable. unbelievable. The fish is super, super realistic. I don't know how they've done it, but it's amazing. And the chips, once you add that little bit of salt on them, are amazing. What I also liked is that the vegan fish looked very different to the regular fish, so you didn't have to worry about them accidentally giving you the wrong thing, which is something I always worry about when dining out. Do other people worry about that, or is that just me? I cannot tell you how good this is. If you are looking for something that's very similar to the original, then this dish is incredible. It also comes with a vegan tartar sauce, so you're getting the full fish and chip experience. You're also sat in a great location in Fantasyland, and it's just lovely to be outside, if the weather permits it, looking at Dumbo and the queue for Peter Pan, whilst dining on some of the best quick service food you will find at Disneyland Paris. This is now like my go-to dish when I go to Disneyland Paris. I need to go and find this, I need to go and eat it because it was so good. Coming in at number 1 is Auberge de Cendrillon. Now this is the princess character dining meal in Fantasyland. Now this is the most expensive meal at Disneyland Paris because it is a set 3-course menu, it's gourmet fine dining food, and you do get to meet the princesses. So it comes with a pretty hefty price tag of €79. When I was going, I was like, this is going to be a once in a lifetime experience. I've never dined there before. They've only recently added vegan dishes onto the menu. So I was like, now is the perfect time to try it. And I have to say, I don't think it's going to be once in a lifetime now because it was so, so good. And even though it's expensive, I do think it was worth the money. The starter was a pumpkin soup, but the presentation was incredible. They put down your bowl that kind of had a vegetable concoction already in it. I don't really know what to call it. And then they came over and then poured the actual liquid soup on top, and then it all kind of blended together, and it was so good. And not only was the taste nice, but also just the presentation was stunning. The main was labelled as a pea and herb finger. What does that mean? Again, with the names. But what it actually was, is it was more like an oblong meatball. That was kind of this flavour profile it had. Kind of very similar to the meatballs you get at Spur Steakhouse. It also came with some purees and some vegetable crisps. So you had a nice range of textures that were really good. And again, it's just so nice. This meatball stuff, which I'm assuming is beyond meat, is so good. The dessert, I still dream about this dessert. It's not only the best dessert I've ever had at Disneyland Paris, it's one of the best desserts I've ever had in my life. It was a chocolate lava cake with cherries. To me, chocolate and cherries together are like the best combination, and this was everything you wanted. You had the gooiness in the middle of the chocolate cake, the chocolate was rich, then you had the tart cherries, you also had like a vegan cream that came with it, and it was so excellent. I can't rave about this dessert enough because I dream about it. It was so, so good. And of course, one of the big things you come for is the character experience, and I have to say, the interactions I had with the princesses was some of the best I've had in any character dining meals I've had at any Disney park. What was great is it's not a super big restaurant, so you got lots of time to speak with them and had like really meaningful, fun interactions. All in all, this is such an excellent experience and I would highly recommend it. It is an expensive restaurant, so it's not going to be something to do every time, and it may not be in everyone's budget, but the great thing is you then have other fantastic meals such as Toad Hall and Fuego Del Oro, which are both quick service, much more affordable, and they're great prices and amazing food. So that is my rank of the vegan foods in both Disneyland Park and Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris. As I said earlier, I've not actually had a bad meal, so all of them I would recommend. If there's one that you really want to try because you like the theming or the sound of the meal, then definitely go ahead. I've not had anything that I've been like, oh, that was terrible. But this is just the order in which I enjoyed them the most. What's really nice is there is a great mixture of table service and quick service and a variety of different types of cuisine. It's never been easier to be vegan at Disneyland Paris, which is fantastic because for so long it was so difficult to dine there as a vegan. It's good to note that anything that has the vegan label on it will be vegan and free from meat, fish, dairy, eggs and honey. In my upcoming trips, I'm hoping to try those final restaurants that I've not yet tried, and I cannot wait to dine in the new Avengers campus. There are 3 dining locations that have vegan vegan options, so I'm very, very excited to go to them. One thing I would say is if you're looking to dine in some of the table service restaurants, is definitely book some reservations as they do sell out. You are now able to book your dining reservations up to a year in advance. The only restaurants that tend to not have reservations that early are Character Dining or Pim Kitchen in the Avengers campus. Everything else you can book very far ahead. Those ones tend to come free a few months ahead of your trip, normally around the 2-month mark. I hope this has been helpful for you if you are visiting Disneyland Paris as a vegan. Are there any restaurants you're super excited to go and dine in? It is amazing now just how many places you can dine in, and it makes it so much easier because if you are traveling with non-vegans, you can choose most restaurants to eat in now, which is fantastic. So I hope this video has been helpful, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.